The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, is a federal law established in 1974 to protect student privacy by limiting access to their educational records. It identifies 4 fundamental rights of students: the right to access their educational records, to specify which third parties may access their records, to challenge and correct certain information in the records, and to be informed of their privacy rights. This act is enforced by the Department of Education. Institutions that fail to comply with FERPA risk losing federal funding. FERPA applies to both K-12 and higher education. However, once a student begins attending an institution of higher ed, the rights to the student's education record pass from parents to the student, regardless of the student's age. So the parents no longer have a right to see their student's education record. The Office of the Registrar is the official keeper of the student record for the university. We assist faculty and staff with difficult FERPA questions and work to ensure that CU complies with this important law. As you watch this video, be sure to note your questions and contact us for assistance. We are here to help you navigate FERPA. This video gives the important points that faculty need to know in order to comply with FERPA. So, let's start with the basics. The education record includes any records that are directly related to a student and maintained by CU or someone acting for the university. This includes grades, transcripts, class papers, financial aid records, disciplinary records, academic reports, files, documents, emails, and materials in whatever medium, such as handwriting, print, tapes, discs, film, microfilm, microfiche, which contain information directly related to a student and from which a student can be personally identified. Personally identifiable information includes any of the following: the name of the student's parent or other family members, the student's campus or home address, a personal identifier like Social Security or student ID number, a list of personal characteristics or other information which would make the student's identity known with reasonable certainty. This is why posting of grades by name, SID, or SSN without the student's written permission is not permitted under FERPA. A few categories of information are excluded from the education record on a college campus and thus are not subject to FERPA. Sole possession notes are notes that are kept in the sole possession of the creator, are used only as a personal memory aid, are not accessible or viewable to any other person, except a temporary substitute for the person who created the record. Note, any record made in conjunction with anyone else, such as the student or a school official, is not a sole possession record. Employee records depend upon the primary affiliation of the student. If an employee of the university is also taking classes, their employment records are not subject to FERPA. If a student also begins working on campus, such as in a work-study job, their employment records are covered by FERPA. Law enforcement records created by and for the law enforcement unit are not covered by FERPA. Doctor-patient privilege records made or maintained by a doctor in the medical treatment of a student are protected by other laws than FERPA. Alumni records. Any new records created by the institution after the student has left the institution are not protected by FERPA. However, the student record continues to be protected by FERPA even after the student has left. Directory information is not protected by FERPA and thus can be released for students whose records are not listed as private. However, just because data can be released does not mean you have to release it. When in doubt, don't give it out. The following are examples of directory information at CU. Again, if you are asked to share student data and aren't sure whether you should, err on the side of caution and don't give it out. Play it safe and refer such requests to the official keeper of the CU student record, the Office of the Registrar. Any non-directory information can only be released with a student's written permission or if the situation meets the requirements of one of the FERPA exceptions. One important exception to FERPA arises if there is a significant threat to a student or other persons. In such cases, refer the situation to the Office of the Registrar before releasing information if safety allows such precaution. Any external agency or contractor who is working on behalf of the university may fall under another FERPA exception. Even within the university, employees must only access student records and even specific information within a student record for which they have a need to know for the purpose of supporting the student's educational mission. Students may decide to share their protected information with third parties, including parents, potential employers, or sponsors. In order to allow this while complying with FERPA, the Office of the Registrar maintains the Student Permission Form, or the FERPA form. Students can come to our office in person to notify us what information they would like to release to what third parties by filling out and signing this form. This form remains active until the student chooses to revoke it. Remember that parents do not have access to their student's educational record without the written permission of the student. Even if a student asks you to write a letter of recommendation, you must be sure to include only directory information, or you must get written permission from the student before submitting the letter to any third party. This example shows what a faculty member could use to get permission before completing a letter of recommendation that includes non-directory information such as grades, GPA, or class rank. An email permission form is not acceptable as it does not contain the student's signature. Another possible FERPA violation involves sending student data using insecure methods or practices. FERPA-protected data must never be sent via email. This includes grade rosters, which should only be submitted directly into the web grading system. Even if students request that you email their final grades, you must not do so, as this violates FERPA. The Office of the Registrar is available to assist with any FERPA-related questions and should be contacted immediately in the event of any possible FERPA violation. We hope this video has been helpful.